Hello friends, Teo here. Did I say Metapod last time? We're playing Harvest Moon and talking about Harvest Moon. It is the Lost Valley time. Let me grab my Joy-Cons. I normally change the scene over and get this ready before I pick up the Joy-Cons. But yeah, so last time I was talking about my journey with Harvest Moon and I was supposed to go to the Goddess Spring to talk to the Gilbert. Yeah, I got too carried away in talking and didn't even do it. I went and saw if there was anyone in the Goddess Spring, and then I didn't go in, so oops. But yeah, so I talked up to my college days. I was talking about Luca's looking for something. So I talked about the forum. And I also talked about Save the Homeland and how it was integral to my studies and became one of my favorite games at the time. But also another thing that really got me into the fandom at the time was that I wanted to learn how to draw, specifically to draw fan art, because fan arts just didn't exist for the things that I wanted to see. And so I started really seriously starting to learn to draw in college, and I got really into the Harvest Moon fandom and fan art. And this is when I was going on Ushinotane forums and, entering little fan art contests and trading art with people. And on DeviantArt I had a club dedicated to Juan from Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. Like, I made that little club, and someone else made a Griffin club. I was in the Griffin club, but then I decided to make the Juan club. And I drew lots of Griffins, drew quite a few Juans. I remember I entered a contest, and I was still learning how to draw. I drew a picture of Claire and Gray from Friends of Mineral Town, and I drew her hand backwards. She was like yawning and had her hand up to her mouth, but it was like the thumb was coming out the other side, and I didn't even know, and I submitted it, and then someone pointed it out, and I remember feeling kind of embarrassed about that. But for some reason I always remember that when I think about Harvest Moon fan art community. And so this was another community thing that I really got into through Harvest Moon. And, you got to know the other Griffin fans, because there were crazy Griffin fans. I was a little sad when other games started coming out and people got into other characters, because I was still really into Griffin. But, there was Griffin fans. We're moving on to the DS era now, because we had Harvest Moon DS. And, yeah, and Harvest Moon DS Cure. That was a big game for me. So anyway, Harvest Moon influenced that hobby a lot, and brought me into a community where I could learn and grow within that hobby. That was pretty cool. All thanks to Harvest Moon being an influential part of my life. And so those were pretty much my college experiences with Harvest Moon. And then when I got out of college, YouTube really started to become a thing. And I made a YouTube channel. And I remember my first video was a Mega Man video, but I started doing some Harvest Moon videos. And oh yeah, he talks by rhymes, which is really annoying. It's a county. Oh, we're gonna get a fishing rod. Now we're actually going to have something to do besides We're gonna have something to do besides throwing dirt around. Oh, now we can dig water spots and stuff. Okay, yeah, this opens up a lot. Okay. What are all those sounds? So hopefully that counts as talking to him. Well, we don't actually have any flowers growing right now, I don't think. So we'll say no, and hopefully that counts as talking to her. And then we'll go ahead and ask him for help with the crops, because why not? Even though I don't know what it does. And just in case that didn't count as talking to her, we'll go ahead and talk to her again. But yeah, so Harvest Moon. Then I got into YouTube. I did some videos on Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. I had a video called Harvest Moon, Another Wonderful Life, Child Abuse, because you could like punch your child in that game. Like you got the option to like discipline your child. And like I was not expecting it, but like you just like smack the child to the ground. Like you like your character like punches the child and they fall to the ground. And so I just called it child abuse, and it got like a bunch of views because people were like arguing about whether it's okay to punch your child to the ground, and it's not really abuse because it's discipline. So I am not going into that argument here, but oh, there were flowers. But that's kind of what made that video get kind of popular within the community. And then I was doing Harvest Moon Magical Melody videos. I recorded the Jamie ending, and I think I was the first person to put that on YouTube. I actually had a capture card. Like this was like not even the 2010s. Like not, you know, this was like the mid-late aughts, and I was doing capture card. It was called a Game Bridge, and I got it for like $10. It was really bad, but I was able to hook like my GameCube up to it. So, well, let's go fish. But yeah, maybe we can try over here. And yeah, so I recorded some Magic Melody videos and stuff like that. And then Twitch became a thing. And I was really interested in doing like charity streams and stuff like that. So I decided... So anyway, Harvest Moon was integral to my budding YouTube hobby. But then Twitch became a thing, and I decided I wanted my very first stream to be a 24-hour charity stream of Harvest Moon Magical Melody, and I was just going to try and beat the game in 24 hours. I posted about it on Twitter, and Cece, the like community manager for Natsume at the time, retweeted it. And this was... It didn't work. Did I have to mash the button? And then this was like right before the Lost Valley, this game, came out. It was right after the Natsume Marvelous split. And I got a bunch of viewers in my very first Twitch stream. I didn't make a ton of money for the charity. It was for a children's hospital, and I got like made me like $80, which was pretty good for my first time streaming ever. But I think like a big chunk of that was like my friends and family donating, but some strangers donated too, so that's cool. And a new record. And Cece from Natsume actually came to the stream and like dropped some hints about like features of the Lost Valley and stuff, and that was really cool. And like I kind of like, because I chose Harvest Moon at that time as my first stream ever, I established a little bit of a following on Twitch, which led to me picking up streaming as a big hobby, and I made a lot of friends, and many of them were there from that first stream. And then that led to making other friends and seeing other streams and stuff, and I was able to have like a good group of friends on Twitch. And you know, later on Discord became a thing, and then I made a group Discord, and the Harvest Moon channel was like the most popular one in my group Discord. That was people who followed me from YouTube and Twitch, and I there was a whole community built around that, and Harvest Moon was an integral part of that community and those hobbies to me. And I think it's interesting that the old games weren't so much about like collecting and stuff. In fact, you couldn't really try to get everything in the original games because they ended. Like the Super Nintendo game 64 let you keep playing, but if you wanted to collect everything, you really had to collect it all in the first few years and stuff like that. And you know, but they weren't really about like 100%ing the games. I guess Harvest Moon 64 was. I don't know, but I didn't play it for that reason. But you know, they really hit that kind of like simulation community feel to me, and that's what I was really looking for. Like I really wanted a game that could do that at the time, and that Harvest Moon did it perfectly. And then the series has kind of evolved over times, and I think as Natsume has picked up and started making their own games using the name, the series has kind of, or this new series has kind of evolved with my tastes, and now the kind of gameplay that they offer is the kind of gameplay that I look for in games a lot these days. And yeah, I think that I've had lots of games that I've been into, but I think that Harvest Moon, I mean, there are games, you know, I like Super Mario games, but I'm not like, I don't consider it one of my favorite games. I do consider Mega Man one of my favorite games, and I've been playing that since the 80s. But Harvest Moon is a game that has been since my childhood. Middle school, Harvest Moon came out, and then I was it's just been integral to so many of my hobbies and has connected me to so many different people, that Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, Ranch Story, you know, like all of it has been, it's a very special in a way that other games are not. And Pokemon is really like that to me too. And Pokemon is designed to be such a social game. Harvest Moon is more like it's a single player game, you know, but for some reason it's introduced me to so many social outlets and has been such an integral part of my like social development and my like hobbies, and it's you know, even my academics. You know, I was learning Japanese through Harvest Moon. I learned to drawing Harvest Moon. I got into streaming and YouTubing through Harvest Moon, and I made so many friends through Harvest Moon, and just I've been playing it all this time, and it's a new Harvest Moon game is still always such an experience to me. Why are these fish not biting? There's such an experience to me that, like, I don't know. It's just it's very special, and I have other games that I consider my favorite series, like Saga and Tokimeki Memorial, but they don't hit the same. They're not Harvest Moon. Like Harvest Moon is like a friend that has been there for me most of my life. It's weird to say it as in such a stupid thing about a game, but like it really has been. And like I feel like even though they don't always succeed as it, Natsume as a company has tried to connect with the community. More so than a lot of companies do. They have really alienated a lot of the community in recent years, and they don't always understand what the community is trying to communicate with them, but there's something that I like about the way Natsume seems to value their fans more than other companies do. So Natsume has also always been kind of like maybe not always, but maybe since they started having more like online social presence, like I feel like because like CC from Natsume would come and talk in like GameFAQs forums and Ushinotane forums and stuff. Like she would actually interact directly with the fans, and that's not something you really see that much with other companies. And even now, like, I don't know whatever happened to CC, but now we have a Harvest Goddess in the official Discord, and she directly discusses all kinds of topics. Like, she is a member of the community in the Discord, and like I just think that's really cool. And so like Natsume is they have a good reputation in my heart, and Harvest Moon itself has been such an influential part of my life since I was very young, and yeah, that's what Harvest Moon means to me. And so even now, and what I knew as Harvest Moon back then is, that's Story of Seasons. So Story of Seasons is also still important to me, but Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon, even though they're different things now, and I still kind of consider them all the same thing. They're all kind of one phenomenon. They're all kind of related in some way. A lot of people don't want to see it that way because they see, they have different views about Natsume's games or whatever. But for me, it's all very special. And I hold the series really close to my heart. It's not always my favorite series. It's not always my favorite game at the time to play, because sometimes I want to play Mega Man, and when you're in a mood, when you're in the Mega Man mood, Harvest Moon is not. It doesn't scratch that itch, But if I had to pick a series that was the most emotionally important to me throughout the course of my life, it would be hard to choose between Harvest Moon and Pokemon, but they're both there. And I just saw my phone light up. Why did it do that? But Harvest Moon's definitely up there. And I often consider Harvest Moon, like if I list my top favorite game series, I'll always list Harvest Moon. I don't always list Pokemon. I kind of like go back and forth with Pokemon. Like, I don't know what it is, but I never have a bad feeling about Harvest Moon. I don't have bad feelings about Pokemon, but like sometimes I'm just like, yeah, Pokemon's cool. But Harvest Moon, it always just feels so important to me, even when I'm not in the mood for that kind of game. So, yeah. And maybe that's what I'll talk about in the next video. I'm keeping that a secret. So, I just came up with another topic. Yeah, I might actually go to sleep now. If you've been watching these videos, I keep talking about how I need to sleep. I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, and it's now 1:30 in the morning. But I keep making one more video. Yeah, so Harvest Moon, very special to me. I can't express it enough, and so I'm very. And yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. But you guys have a good one. Let me know what Harvest Moon means to you. I'd really like to know if you guys have stories about Harvest Moon being influential in your life, like me, or if I'm just a crazy one. So let me know. I do want to hear about those kind of stories. Yeah, I will see you later. Have a good one, and bye-bye.